Hi, here we are again, another Friday, another video. It's December, so we're all very stressed. I'm sure you're as stressed as me. Well, maybe not quite as stressed as me, but I still am doing Christmas stockings. So we thought it'd be a great thing to show you guys how we get our names on our stockings. Maybe make it a little easier for you, a little less stress. So here's my lovely stockings. Even if you were using a ready-made stocking, I made these stockings, so I have my little cuff piece hooped. But if you were using a ready-made that had a cuff, you could unfold it and hoop it and do the same thing. But really what I wanted to share with you today is one of the main things that people stress over is how big should my font be? How do I get it so that it's in the right position and it looks nice? So for these, I measured my cuff piece, which was about 4.5 by 7.5. So when I subtract my seam allowance, that's about 4 by 7. So when I come to my software, instead of loading a regular hoop that I have, like this 120 by 120, if I want to get a visual judge of the size of something and positioning, I can create my own hoop size. It doesn't have to be a real hoop. I'm just going to create my visual parameters so that I can see where that name is going to be and the size that it is in relation to the fabric when I'm done. So thanks to my lovely friend Siri, I was able to ask her what my inch to millimeter conversion is, because my brain does not speak metric. It's only imperial because I'm an imperial girl. Okay, so we wrote it down, and my piece is roughly 101 millimeters tall by 177 wide. So when I come to my software, I can come here. This is just a blank canvas, and I can come to my view, and I can change my hoop. So here would be where I would normally select a hoop that exists, but I don't want to do that. I can come down here to enter size and make the dimensions anything I want it to be. So if I hit that here, I can have my width of 177, and I can have my height of 101. And see how my hoop changes. The software doesn't really care if this hoop exists, but it gives me the dimensions that I need. This is the natural position. I could rotate it if I needed to, but I'm going to work with this. So I'm going to hit OK. And so now my hoop has changed. This is the entire view. The dimensions are 177, so the area that is embroiderable is 177 by 101. It has that little safety margin around the edges that makes sure I don't do things that make your machine come to the hospital. And now I'm going to go to letters. So I really like this font. It's a built-in font. It's kind of whimsical. It's called Abby, and it's default kind of parameters. Where it looks nice is from 25 millimeters to 100 millimeters. So when I come in here, I have it selected, and I'm just going to type Mary because she's my boss and we like her to be happy. And so now if I have it at 25 millimeters, I come down here to apply, and I hit OK. So if I back up a little bit, I can see now at 25 millimeters, that's what Mary looks like. It's kind of small. So when I come over here, I can see if I hover over the millimeters, I get an inch, 1.165 inches tall by, the whole design is 2.894 inches wide. Really way too small. So I know that I can go between 25 and 100 and have the results stitch out nice. But you know what? I could just keep changing things here, but I have another option. If I come to home here at the top, I can come over to edit design. And that brings up the letter properties for this design that I have. So remember, there's my font and the sizes. So it's nice that it reminds me of that sweet spot of size. Here's my word. If I had forgot what my boss's name, how to spell it, I could change it here. And here's the size, 25 millimeters. So I can actually change it here. So I think we'll try 40 because we want it to get a lot bigger. And then I can come down to okay. Ooh, and that looks really nice. So now there's Mary in all her glory, and it fills up the space pretty nicely. If I hover over here, I can see that now it's 1.866 inches tall, and it is about a little over 4.5 inches wide. I can go actually a little bigger because remember, this whole area is my embroiderable area. So let's try it again. Let's try and get a little bigger. I'm going to edit design. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to come up to 50. And then I'm going to hit OK. Oh, see, now that looks really nice to me. I want, when I sew this, when I stitch it out, I want to have a little bit of margin around the sides and on the top and bottom. I don't want it so big that it takes away from the look of the cuff, because the cuff is pretty, right? So I think that that's a great size. So now I would just export this into my cloud or to a thumb drive, and I would stitch it out. Let's see. Then say we can't leave Mary alone. We have to get James involved because James needs a stocking too. So I could start over. I could go to letters and re-input the names. But since I already have this out, I know what font I like. I can go back to edit design and I can just change the name right here. It's that easy. James. And now I can hit OK. And doesn't that look nice? They're very similar in size, so that works out nice. And I can see that my design is now 6 inches wide, which gives me about 1 inch on either side, and a little over 2 inches tall. I think that is exactly what I did here, and I think that's a nice size. So now let's try one more thing. So if I come to edit design again, and then I change the name, I have another person that I want to make for Catherine. So my good friend Catherine, I can hit OK. Ooh, that is not a good look. I can't really change the size of the hoop, right? Because my piece is gonna fit. It's got to fit the bottom, it's got to fit the bottom section of my stocking. So we're gonna have to change the size of the font. So let's just come to, oop, I didn't mean to unselect you. It's not going to let me do anything unless I have it selected. I need a box around my word so that it knows that this is what we're editing. So now I can come to edit design again, and we can change that down. Let's try 40 and hit OK. Still too big. Let's try it again. Edit design. Let's try 35 and hit OK. Ooh, what was that? That's not 35. That is, where is it? 120. That's not a good look. Let's see, how did that happen? Let's go back and we'll do 35 and hit OK. Much better. Almost. Still just a smidgen too big. We'll go down a couple more. 33. There we go. So now Catherine still looks nice. It's beautiful. It fills up the space nice. When I come to the top, I can see that I'm 6.5, a little over 6.5 inches wide and almost 2 inches tall. So that's probably what I would go with. I think it still looks nice. It's a lovely font. So now when I go to export this, I'm going to export it just like that. And I'm going to put it in my cloud. let's see, where's my cloud? Right here. I'm going to call it Catherine. And I'm going to hit export. So I'm going to export it in VP3 because we know that that is our best option format-wise for stitch out. And now, even though my hoop is an oddball size hoop that I have selected, when I go to actually open that design on my machine is going to pick a regular real hoop that exists in the world, because otherwise it doesn't do us any good. So, you know, probably a little bigger than this, maybe a 180 by, well, yeah, 180 by 130 would be a good choice. My nice magnetic hoop, that would be where I would go with this. So I can always look here and see what my dimensions are. So the design itself is 169.6 by 43. So looking at the hoops that exist for my machine, 180 by 130 would probably be what I would choose to use. So I know it's a Friday afternoon, and I hope that was coherent. I hope it answered your question. I hope it helps you de-stress your Christmas preparations. And that's all I have to say about that. Keep stitching.